Tonight's invention has been used as a weapon of war and a weapon of peace. It's taken men to the edge of space, it's ruined the economy of Skegness, and it's made your lunch a lot more interesting. Best of all, though, it's brought me here to paradise. So a round of applause then for the noisiest invention of them all, the jet. People used to think of the world as quite a big place, but now it's tiny. Took me longer to drive the other day from Manchester to London than it takes to fly from London to New York. I am about to embark on a journey right round the world, and I'm not Michael Palin. I'm not going to take 80 days about it. I'm going to do it in 5. Yep. It's been decided that the best way to show you the impact of the jet is to use one to fly me 25,000 miles round the world in just over 120 hours. I'm not sure that this kind of insane schedule is what our forebears had in mind when they first dreamed of taking to the air. Escaping the Earth by flying like the birds is one of the oldest human fantasies. It looks easy, but it isn't. If a seagull can manage it, then surely a human could with all that power and intellect. Clearly not. The fact is that man-powered flight is simply never going to happen. For one thing, our hearts would have to thrash away at 800 beats per minute. We just aren't natural flyers. Sorry. I'm not looking forward to this. It's 6:30 in the morning, I'm in a bad temper, and they have just given me my schedule. Hand on heart, first time I've seen it. London, New York. New York, Los Angeles, which I loathe with a passion. Los Angeles to Tahiti. Tahiti. Things are looking up. Tahiti to We're going to somewhere called and then to Auckland. Old girlfriend of mine lives there. Things are looking up again. Auckland to Sydney, ghastly place, full of Australians. Sydney to Singapore. Singapore to London, and that's 55 hours of DVT, rubbish food, quite a lot of it in America, and back. I'm going to need some nicotine patches. But before all that, the first leg of my journey, the train to Heathrow. Before planes, trains brought mass transport to Britain. In 1841, you used to be able to go to places as exotic as Loughborough. But you try catching a train to There were no powered planes, leave alone jets, until 1903. When the Wright brothers abandoned flapping in favour of engines, it was a good move. Wilbur and Orville's machine actually flew, only for 1/4 of a mile in 4 hops, but it didn't matter. Powered flight had begun. It wasn't until 1919 that the first passenger service started between London and Paris. It cost £21, it took 2.5 hours, and it wasn't what you'd call comfortable since you were flying in a convertible. An ex-RAF bomber with 2 seats and no roof. Nor was it very successful. The flight was half empty, taking just 1 passenger. Planes soon got larger and less al fresco, but still flying was slow and comparatively expensive. In
In 1939, when Pan Am started transatlantic flights, they charged £200 a ticket, around £3,000 in today's money. And for your £3,000, you got a 24-hour flight and no guarantees. With their hundreds of moving parts, engines often broke down. One early flight was 120 hours late. Oh, those were the days.
Hi.
How can I help?
Thanks. Yeah, I'm flying to here.
Okay. And do you have any bags to check in with us today?
Terminal 4, Heathrow, my ultimate destination. Just 5 days to go.
Upstairs window seat would be brilliant.
Okay.
And preferably not next to anyone who's fat.
Okay, I'll have a look at that for you.
And this is to New York.
This is to New York, boarding at gate number 20. It's about a 15 minutes leisurely walk to the gate. So give yourself
Where's
enough
gate
time.
1?
Gate 1 is through the security area. on
Is
your
there a
left.
gate 1?
There is a gate 1A, gate 1B.
Because I've never flown, ever, in 20 years from gate 1. Ever.
Oh, I'm afraid you'd have to wait another year, maybe, to travel through gate 1.
Right, so this is gate
This is
274,000.
gate number 20. Thank you.
Now, the jet, of course, is a British invention, something we can be proud of, something we gave to the world. Trouble is, we really did give it to the world. We invented it, and we gave it away for nothing.
Just 25 years after the Wright brothers had stumbled into the sky, a young man called Frank Whittle came up with the idea for the jet engine. It would become his life's work, but achieving his dream would also destroy him. Invention and chasing dreams was in his blood. Frank's father was an engineer with a penchant for perpetual motion machines. Whittle's obsession with flight began at the age of 9. An aeroplane with engine trouble made a forced landing near his home. Frank was fascinated. He became so absorbed he didn't even notice the pilot preparing to take off again, and avoided decapitation by inches. But he was hooked. Desperate to be a pilot, he applied to join the RAF, but he was turned down because he was too short. Luckily for the world, 6 months later, when he tried again, young Frank had shot up to the crucial entry-level height of 5'3", and he was in. So, age 16, the diminutive Whittle was installed as an apprentice at RAF Cranwell. He soon had a reputation as a brilliant pilot and a daredevil stunt performer, though the top brass preferred to call it overconfidence. But Whittle was not simply an entertaining flyer. In 1928, when he was just 21, he wrote a paper entitled Future Developments in Aircraft Design. Dull title, brilliant idea. Whittle envisioned planes travelling at 500 miles an hour. This was extraordinary. At the time, the maximum speed was just 150 miles an hour, and what was more, Whittle was suggesting abandoning the propeller and its piston engine altogether in favour of something entirely new: the jet.
With a propeller engine, you have tubes and wires and carburetors, and it's all terribly complicated. But with a jet, you don't have any of that. You don't have anything at all. It's just empty. Man pushes a button, lots of noise, you're going 500 miles an hour. Personally, I think it's witchcraft.
Fortunately, however, Whittle knew more about physics than I do.
Ah, Whittle. Welcome. Where are you
And in September 1929 took his idea to A.A. Griffith, director of the Air Ministry Laboratory.
So, about your proposal for a jet engine. I've looked into these ideas myself. Personally, I don't think it's possible to build an engine without a propeller. But do explain to me. Perhaps I've missed something.
Very well.
Griffith almost certainly understood